So, as I always do, I pull out my metaphysical Bible dictionary. That's a real thing, where you can go look up what things mean in the Bible. So we got the angels. I was looking up shepherds, and then looking up sheep, all the events and the characters. And then I read this interesting thing about sheep. Okay, metaphysically, sheep, harmless, innocent animals. They represent the natural life that flows into man's consciousness from spirit, pure, innocent. I was like, okay, I like that. Yeah, sheep. And then there was this addendum. The separation of goats from sheep is a mental process wherein the good, obedient, and profitable thoughts, the sheep, are retained, and the stubborn, selfish, useless thoughts, the goats, are put away. And I was like, wait, what? Let me read that again. First of all, I was surprised I made it this far in Unity and didn't realize that Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, who wrote all these definitions, for some reason, had something against goats. I mean, why? How can you have issue with that? They're the cutest things ever.
Goat yoga.
Yeah, apparently goat yoga is a thing now. Separation from goats from sheep is a mental process wherein the good, obedient, and profitable thoughts, the sheep, are retained, and the stubborn, selfish, useless thoughts, the goats, are put away. Why would you want to put that away? Look at that thing. And I don't even like animals. I'm like, so I had to dive deeper, of course. I had to figure out where this might have came from, okay? There's a passage in the Bible that I want to read for you. It comes from Matthew chapter 25, and it says this. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of glory. The nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another, as the shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand, the goats at his left. And the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and welcomed you, or gave you clothing when you were naked? When was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me." Just as you did it to the least of one of these who are members of my family, you did it to me. This passage is a story within a story. This passage is, as is written, sort of a metaphor for, quote unquote, the end times, when Jesus returns and we get the whole second coming, and eventually everyone's got to stand before God, and God's going to separate the righteous from the unrighteous, and the righteous are those who did all this stuff, and the unrighteous or not, okay? So, again, let's step away from that literal idea of a second coming. News flash, spoiler alert, it's not going to happen in the literal sense. In fact, in our metaphysical teachings, the second coming of Jesus is actually the same as the first coming of Jesus, which is within us every time that we awaken to live from our Christ consciousness. Every time we make a choice for peace, for faith, for oneness, for love, we are making the divine visible and felt We are bringing our Christ consciousness to actuality. God is being birthed into the world again every time we make that choice. No pressure, but we are the second coming.